Hi again. I'm Jeff Rimmer, and pleased to be joined by the first captain in the history of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Oh, yeah, 20 years ago, Lyle Odelien had that captaincy on his Blue Jackets jersey, and the present captain, Nick Foligno. Now, you guys are meeting each other for the first time, Nick, and I know that you followed Odie, but here you get a chance to visit with him, and I hope you got some good, tough questions about captaincy in the National Hockey League, because this guy's wearing a letter, either a C or an A throughout his career.
Yeah,
I'd rather watch Nick than Paul my career. He's a little better player.
I don't know, but I've loved finally meeting you because I've heard obviously lots about you. I think that's one thing we've had some really good players come through here and lead, and I'm honored to wear the C like you did, and hopefully can do as good a job. And I'm having fun right now, so it's been good.
Great job. I know you're well respected, and what an honor to wear a C there too. What a great honor. Yeah. So I'm happy for you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
What was it like in that first year, captain of the Blue Jackets, an expansion team? You see what's happened here with Vegas and their success here, and the guys said, hey, we're cast-offs from other teams. What was it like? And I understand and know very well that you guys were a pretty close-knit group that first year.
Yeah, Doug did a great job putting a lot of character guys together. And I think when you're leading, as Nick will tell you too, you're only as good as the guys around you too that believe in you and trust you and you form a bond and hang out together and have your pops after the games and go out and go for nice meals. And we had a lot of fun. When our expansion team, we didn't get like Vegas. They got all the good players. We had to rebuild like right from scratch. And we had guys like Jamie Pusher and Kevin Deneen that led the way too, taught it right. So we had a lot of good leaders.
Nick?
Yeah, well, I think it's just what I'm like so impressed with like just hearing about his team and stuff is that's what I hear about that group, how close they were. And, I talked to like former players I've gotten to, know, and they said, as tough as maybe it was because they had to start from scratch and maybe it wasn't the winning they expected. I mean, the arena was sold out. The atmosphere was amazing. And then those guys seem to have that bond. I think as a player, that's what you really search for a lot of times, right? Is that bond with your teammates. And I'm sure
that's why Doug McLean a lot of credit to put that team together, because everybody got along in the team. You don't see that all the time. There was no cliques or anything. We were all together.
Yeah, I love hearing that because that's exactly the stories I hear of that team, because I have trainers that are there from day one. So I hear that the good times that you guys have. There's a wall in the trainer's room, a lot of pictures, the equipment room, and none that'll ever get out. But it is really cool just to see how tight that group is. And, it's something I think, like you said, you aspire to have. And I'm really proud that I think I could say that about this group since in the time that I've been here. We've really grown that and have that group now where it's a joy to come to the rink every day, and it's the way it should be.
Yeah, I
think
you guys are like.
Go ahead there, Odie.
I said you guys are only 1 or 2 players away from possibly winning it all. I mean, that's 21 years to win a cup. I mean, that's what you play for. So
yeah. No, I'm proud. I think I give Yarmo love. Like he's given us an opportunity to be close, and we know we need a few more pieces, and hopefully I can see it through and be here for that. But I'm just so proud of this team, the way the guys have come together, and it's just we're having a ball right now, which is the way it's supposed to be. And I can't wait to get back in front of these fans soon.
Yeah, you're doing a hell of a job, and keep doing the same thing you're doing, and hopefully next year you guys can go all the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I hate seeing the team we lose to win the cup every freaking year. That's for damn sure.
Odie, what was it like? What was it like for that first game? Again, a group that really clicked from the start. But what was it like that first game? And maybe share some of the experiences of that first year with us.
Well, it was great from day one. Actually, playing our first game, I was just like, you're playing your first game in the NHL. We were so excited and nervous, and we thought we had a team that could beat anybody. And I think that year we didn't lose Detroit once, and we were beating them like 5-2, 6-2, and for whatever reason they couldn't beat us. So I don't know. We I think we missed the playoffs by 5 points, I believe. So we were right in the hunt the whole year. So
which was really something for an expansion team to hang in there until the end.
Yeah, no, I mean, Tugnut in that too. I mean, he was number 1 goalie. So you have goaltending and good character bunch of guys. I think you can win anything.
So true.
Yep.
We lived that this year. Goaltending and good character. We found a way to grind it out. So
Watch you guys every night. Yeah, I was rooting for you guys hard. I'll tell you
thank you. Yeah. That was wild. Yeah, we've come a long way. First game, and then we're playing in bubbles. So you got out at the right time.
that. That could have been too much fun.
Oh man.
Cody, how could you pull the bubble?
What's that? No, Christ. I'd have to be hanging out with Rimmer all the time.
The bubble would have to enclose some sort of bar near the arena for the old time players. We were having a hard time without a bar. That's awesome.
Good.
No, it's
Nick,
cool.
any questions you have about being a captain on the hockey league for a guy like Odie, who, as I said earlier, was either worn the captaincy or had the letter on his jersey as an alternate captain throughout his career and won a cup as well in Montreal?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think his career speaks for itself, but I think the question I would have for him is, did you find a big difference when you came to lead this team here, being an expansion team and coming over and not really knowing all the guys that well, not having a culture to really say, okay, this is the way it's been for so long. You're kind of creating that, right?
I didn't know.
Was that a challenge?
Yeah, yes and no, because I knew some of the guys fairly well, and like I said, we had a bunch of leaders in that team, and we grew fast, and we had a lot of fun. But I was nervous. It was like playing in the Stanley Cup final. But after the first couple of months, it was like, hey, we got a chance to do something here. So it was great.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Lyle, I know that you and I have talked privately about your stay in Pittsburgh, and of course, career ended when you blew out your knee. But being around young players and putting your arm around them and really offering them all kinds of confidence along the way. If I could, I'd like to share the story in Pittsburgh while you were with the Penguins and a young Sidney Crosby. And Mario Lemieux was still on that team, the owner of the team. And yet there you were with Crosby, and Crosby kind of took to you and asked questions about being a leader, being a captain, and the like.
Yeah, I mean, we had guys like too, like Leclerc and Recchi, and obviously Mario was there. I remember Sid took a bad penalty his third game in the league in Philadelphia. And I reamed his ass out to put us in overtime then. But he did win it in overtime. But he looked at Mario for Mario to say something. And Mario just looked at him and said, better take it. So, like that. I mean, Sidney coming in the league, he was a little bit of a whiner, not like, Nick, how we played. We were just be there. And I guess when you're number one overall, you think you're special, which he is special.
For sure.
We had our moments, back and forth. So.
Yeah.
What do you think of the game today with the captains you see around the National Hockey League compared in the era that Odelein played?
Well, I think it's a different era of just person and player personnel in general, right? Like I grew up watching my dad's era, right? So that era to me is just this hard-nosed physical style that everyone seemed to have. Even if you were a skilled player, you still had the grit and the tenacity that you needed to survive in the league, and I even think about some of like the really good skilled guy. Like I watched a guy like Doug Gilmour play. I mean, he was 100-point getter, but he was as nasty as they'd come,
And off the
ice. Exactly. So I think that's where the game has shifted now, where it's just so much speed focused, and the clutching and grabbing is obviously gone because the rules have changed. So the players change. I don't think the captains change. I think there's still a mandate from players that. Maybe now with just the era of technology, players seem to know a little bit more. They have more at their fingertips, more opportunities to watch games and clips. And I mean, that was never, even when I came in the league, to watch your clips you had to have the coach bring you in. They had to cut it. Like now you get it in 5 seconds after the shift's over. So that has changed.
Yeah. I remember when I came in the league in '89, all the captains were all Canadian or American. Now they got Russians and Czechoslovakia, and I mean that's how it's changed a bit that I see, anyways. But we didn't have the European when we won the Cup in '93. We didn't have one European on our team, which is
crazy.
Yeah,
I know it's
I'm not and now about the Europeans, but I'm just saying we didn't have one.
Well, are you saying we have to change our dynamics?
Yeah.
No. It is. It's so different, but it's neat to see how different teams have that culture based on their captaincy, their leadership group, right? And I always say, like, leadership, like you said, you're only as good as the guys around you.
Yeah.
So, as much as you want to say the captains, but it's also the guys that they're leaning on, the group that you have, older group, younger group. I mean, I'm on a team that I'm the oldest guy and I'm 33, whereas on other teams, I'd be one of the middle of the pack or there'd be about 10 of us. So
Right.
it's a different thing where you're trying to relate to a 19-year-old. Maybe you don't have the in-betweens. But when I came in the league, my captain was Daniel Alfredson. He was there forever in Ottawa.
Yep.
And, he was great to relate to me. And so I just remembered how that felt. And I wanted to make sure that if I was ever in that position, whether it was a captain or an older player,
Right.
you find a way to relate to those guys. Because the sooner you do that, I'm sure, Lyle, you agree, it brings them into the group. There's got to be a little bit, like you said with Sid, there's got to be a little growing process, and there's all that goes into it. But you have to find a way to bring those guys in, and especially on my team with how young we are, those guys are so important, and they got to feel like they're part of the team.
Yeah, no, I agree with you totally.
Yeah.
Lyle, what did you learn from your time in Montreal? You won a Stanley Cup there, and you look at the history and the tradition of that hockey team, and you look at the leaders that were there. A guy that you were probably closer to than anybody was Sher Savard, who also was not only a captain that hoisted a few Stanley Cups in Montreal, but at the same time, he became the general manager of that organization while you were there. What was it like, and what did you learn from those days?
Well, with Serge, you really didn't see him much. If he walked in the room, you could hear a pin drop because we knew we were in big trouble. You didn't see much of him, but he had something to say. He said it, and everybody listened. I mean, I had Chelios and Carbonneau in my first year as captains, then Kirk Muller and Guy Carbonneau, and I learned from the best. So I remember after Serge got fired, that organization hasn't been the same. And that's going back to 95, which is kind of
pretty good history and tradition there, huh, Nick?
Yeah, well, I'm laughing because that year, 93, right, is when you won?
Yeah.
That was the year that it should have been a Montreal-Toronto final. I don't care what anyone says.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm bashing that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I don't know if we could beat Toronto.
Yeah, that's my dad tells that story.
My
My dad tells that story to me because he said, I guess, like, you guys were awesome, obviously, but he said that the Leafs actually had your number that year. They had beat you guys a few times. So they were so pissed when Gretzky didn't get kicked out of that game that he should have been kicked out of, and then they went on to win it. But that's a hard one for me because I was a Leaf fan back then and thought they should have went all the way.
Well,
but
it would have been a good final, but I don't know if we would have beat them, to tell you the truth.
Yeah,
I don't
know.
beat Pittsburgh either.
Yeah.
Hey,
you got to get hot at the right time.
Yeah, we were all in the hotel room. Everyone came out of the rooms after the Islanders won in overtime. We said, we're going to win the cup. It was just like, wow, this is great. We got to play the Islanders, and we beat them in 5.
Unbelievable. I know you almost need that path cleared for you sometimes. Yeah, it's
the guy in the net called Patrick Waugh too. Wasn't too shabby.
Not bad if you like a Hall of Famer.
Oh God,
it's awesome.
Lyle, from that first year, if we could go back to that, any funny recollections or stories that you can tell us here today?
Oh God, I don't know.
It's being recorded. Watch out.
Yeah, I know. I think we'll leave that question alone.
That's awesome.
There's got to be a story or two, a funny story along the way, inaugural year. I mean, Doug McLean wasn't a choir boy by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, no. There's so many, Jeff, to be honest with you, that there's not one that stands out because they're all so good. So
now Dave King was the coach.
That great coach. Loved him. No.
And you look at Nick's coach, John Tortorella. Could you play for Torts?
Oh yeah. Torts would love you.
I liked every coach I had except one, and I'll say it too. I hated Robbie Ftorek. I asked Gretz about him too, and because I played in a World Cup with Gretz, and he hated him too.
Now, as captain of the Blue Jackets presently, Nick, it's a situation where you've got a great two-way conversation with Torts. And hey, go back to that first year as captain. There were some growing pains along the way, but I think there's a tremendous camaraderie and respect between you and the captain as we sit here today.
Yeah, I think, you know what, Torts and I had to learn each other like anyone would, right? And he was the first coach that I had that really challenged me. And I think anyone would say that as you get older in the league, you kind of think you got to figure it out. And you need that sometimes. You need a reminder that there's always room for improvement. And until you're a Hall of Famer or even a Stanley Cup champion, there's always room for growth. And even at that point, those guys are trying to win another one. So I had a little bit of maturing to do. And I also think too, it was a tough year when he came in. Our team was supposed to be a lot better than we had played. And that was really disappointing. But I think Torts came in at a right time in my career. And from that honest conversation that we had with each other and you know, and it was a respectful way. I think we both saw how passionate each other are about the sport and about the team and wanting to win. And I think from there you can grow and do what we've done. And I think we've grown a great relationship, and we're both working towards trying to win a Stanley Cup, trying to make the Columbus Blue Jackets as good a team as possible. And it's fun. I think we challenge each other. There's been some heated moments. And that's what's fun. I think that's what brings it out in you. You know that they care. I think when you stop getting those moments and those interactions is when you might as well move on, or he moves on, or whoever, you know, because it's not clicking. You have to have that passion, that fire, and Torts has that every day. And I think he knows we care about this group, and I care about this group. And he wanted to see that.
He brought in the guy that I played with, Dave Anderchuk, made him the captain, and Dave Anderchuk loves the guy. That one. They all love Torch.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's something to say, and I think he's a great coach too.
Oh yeah, and I mean, he pushes you, absolutely, but it's black and white, and you know exactly where you stand. And I think as a player, you know, I'd rather that than the mind games you get played with and all the things that go into it, where then you want to kill the guy. For me, that's the worst part. Just tell me how it is. I can hate you or I can like you, but at least I know where you stand, and you're not fake. And that's one thing Torts is not. He's not fake, and all he cares about is making us better. And once you kind of get the message through the bark and the bite, it makes you a better player, and it's honest and it's true a lot of times too, which pisses you off even more.
I've been there lots of times. I know.
Yeah, exactly.
For both great. Number one role of a captain, and is it different now than maybe what it was 20 years ago when Lyle captained the first Blue Jacket team?
Lyle can take this one first.
Yeah. 20 years ago, for instance, it's like, how can I put it? The guys were different. It was a different game. You know, playing in the WHL, riding the bus for 36 hours to play a game. I think you were groomed for the NHL. And with the coaches today, it's all, like you said, on the bench, in 5 seconds, you can look at your play, what you did wrong. You know, like we'd have to go back in the second period and try and find the videotape of it and stuff like that. So it's just a different game.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the one thing I've just tried to do as a group is just make sure the guys know that I care about them. There's no personal agenda for me. You know, it's about, you know, my personal agenda is getting our team to win, because that's going to allow me to have individual success. So that's maybe the only personal agenda I have, is that if our team does well, I do well. So we all win. And so as long as they know that whatever decision I do is because it's for the best interest of the team, I think that's my only job as a captain. Yeah. And you know, and then you lean on the other guys that can bring. I'm so excited. We got a guy, Mikko Koivu, coming in, who's been a captain a long time. I got a chance to learn from him. You know, I'm more excited about him than anyone else, because he gives me another person to lean on, you know, and have him look at things and say, hey, you know, this is, you know, we could be better here. And, you know, so that excites me. And I'm never going to stop trying to learn and grow. And I still enjoy it. You know, I think the day that it becomes more of a burden than an honor is when I'll know I'm done. But right now I'm enjoying this challenge, and I want to get us to the potential that Lyle has said, and I believe, and we're not far off. I really believe that we're not far off, and we got to add a few more pieces and get a little bit better as a group. And man, we're right there.
I think you guys being so young and bringing in a couple older players, it's going to help the team
big time.
So,
yeah. And now I'm not the oldest guy on the team. It makes me feel so freaking good.
One thing that my observation, for what it's worth, watching the difference between captains and teams today versus 20 years ago. And Lyle, you can certainly appreciate this. And Nick, for a guy that's dad played in the National Hockey League, you would certainly see the difference too, is I thought back in your day, Lyle, players stayed together longer. Now it's more of a business. Guys come in, get their work in, on the ice, off the ice, whatever, and they're gone. You guys had a tendency to stay together, go to lunch, have a few brews or whatever after practice. Is that a fair analysis?
Yeah, I know when I broke in the league, everybody was together all the time. It's like I wanted to take a pay cut in Montreal, and I wanted $1 million. They wouldn't give it to me. So I got traded to New Jersey Devils, and they gave me $6.6 million. You know, it's a bigger business now, is what it is. Guys are willing to play for, you know, the league average and stuff because thought he had a chance to win. I took $1 million pay cut to come to Pittsburgh because I thought I had a chance to win the cup. I knew I only had 1 year left, so it wasn't about the money. I just wanted to win, and we didn't do so well.
Yeah. I mean, I think this unfortunately has a lot to do with it too.
Yeah.
Now, where he just
we didn't have that. It was great. No one got it.
Yeah, exactly. And
you
no
got
one could
the
get
bar to see the guys in.
Now you got track my location on that.
Oh
thing.
yeah.
But no, I agree with you on that, Rems. I think it is unfortunate now with the way the business is that we don't spend as much time together as I would like, and I was used to when I first came in. And it used to be, you know, drop your bags at the hotel and race to the bar. Everyone would meet at the bar before you went to dinner or wherever else you went that day. And now it's race to the coffee shop. So, right. and in some ways it's good, excuse me. And in some ways it's, I really try to bring that out of the group. You know, I really try to get guys together. I know how important that is. And I make a conscious effort or try to. And I think I'm lucky. I have a group that really cares about that. They enjoy getting together. So I can see how even just our team has transformed just by that little camaraderie off the ice. We've become a lot tighter and closer. You know, any guy that comes in or leaves this team always says, man, they were one of the best groups, which I take that as such a nice compliment, you know, that we're a good group on and off the ice. And I want to get to that point. Like Lyle said, when he played, the group was so tight, always together. I'm telling you, it just makes you a better team on the ice. It's incredible. So
practice, it didn't matter what was going on. If it was Shelley or Muller or Scott Stevens, whoever. All right, boys, we're going for lunch, mandatory. And lunch sometime turned into breakfast.
Dinner.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I've been there, done that.
Yeah. Well, did I take you to Peter Luger's, Rems?
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Oh, yeah. We had the limo. We landed in New York. And Timmy Leroy, who
that's right, too.
Was the equipment manager then and is currently the equipment manager for the Blue Jackets, I'm happy to say. And of course, Scott Tinkler was this as well. He was in Florida at the time. One more dinner I want to talk about with the two of you and what we can say and what we shouldn't say. You guys can differentiate. Let's talk about the rookie dinners and how those have changed over the years. Was there even a rookie on that Blue Jacket first team? Or what did you guys do with no rookie dinner? If that was the case.
We had a rookie dinner one time with the Devils, where we had 6 rookies. We had a Burns Steakhouse in Tampa Bay. Our bill was over $40,000.
Oh my God.
We made sure the 6 guys wouldn't go over $5,000, and then the rest stuff in. But those guys were basically their pants.
That's awesome.
Because the money back then wasn't the same as now.
I love it. Yeah, we've had some actually, that's a big thing for me. I think the rookie party is one of the best moments for the team just in general. So I'm big on it. And we've had some pretty good ones in years previous. We had about, this is how young our team was. I think we had close to 8 rookies one year. Yeah, with just the way it was call ups and everybody and was in LA and we had a scavenger hunt. They had to complete a scavenger hunt before they could come back and drink with the veterans. And they had to send videos and making sure, because they had to prove that they did all these scavenger things. And they had to go in the ocean. I think they had to try to catch a pigeon. These guys, they definitely, you could see the personalities really come to life. Sometimes you don't get to see that at the rink as much. But when they get a few drinks in them and they get to relax a little bit, you get to see the personalities come out. And that's when the best bonding happens, right? Yeah. That's when the inside jokes start coming. Then the guy feels a lot more part of the team. He walks in the dressing room. Now he's got something to actually, talk to the older guy about. Man, that was crazy last night. I had so much fun. It's amazing what that does for the group. And we've had some epic ones along the way.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Final thoughts, guys, before we wrap it up?
I'll tell you what, thanks for having me, guys. Nick, you're doing a hell of a job. And like I said, I'm rooting for you guys all the time. And hopefully you guys will win a cup this year or next year.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Pleasure meeting you. I'm glad to see you're doing so well, too. You have going on. I will.
For me, too.
I will. But pleasure. And honestly, I know a lot about you. I've heard a lot and obviously watched you and appreciate all the things you did to start this organization off on the right foot. And going to try and do my part here and leave it better than when I found it, hopefully.
Oh, you're doing a great job, and you'll be there a long time. You'll be the longest captain there.
I know, knock on wood. We'll see. I fooled them long enough here. We'll see.
Oh, you have it. Go win a cup.
Yeah. Thanks, Rims. Nice to see your face, my friend.
Always great to see you, and a couple of legends there. The first and current captains of the
Just
Columbus
Lyle.
Blue Jackets. Guys, thanks for your time.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Good talking to you.
Thanks.